Well, welcome to October. Can't believe it's here already, but we've of course had a very big push of warmth here at the end of September at this big upper level ridge, kind of a blocking pattern that really gave us several days. And in fact, 3 consecutive days in the 80s, the latest streak of 80s in 10 years in the season. Of course, we've been talking about the warming trends in all ways, but this is looking at the change in the new 30-year normals we use, 1991 to 2020 now versus the previous one, which was 81 to 2010. And of course, it's increasing. A heat record that was almost missed earlier this week, Hazen, North Dakota, 100 degrees on Tuesday, which is hot and significant in itself, but it also turns out that it may be the hottest temperature this far north this late in the season. That's according to meteorologist Guy Walton, who was sifting through the data. So that is a bit of an alarming climate stat there. And of course, September did end up very warm for us, almost 5 degrees above the historical average. And September is our second fastest warming month in the climate change scheme of things. So normally we see 60s and 70s for highs in September. That's where most of the data lies. But this year, of course, 70s and 80s. So that's what that almost 5 degree above normal temperature difference looks like in the scheme of things. And it's been the same pattern we've had since the summer. This is looking at since June 1st, hot here in the west and upper Midwest, cool because it's been wet in the south. Same thing for September. You look at the changes or differences, it looks very much the same. And no reason to think that October will be any different. This is the CFS model, one of the models we use for long-term forecasting. For the month of October, it looks like a similar pattern. In fact, almost 5 degrees warmer than average is what that model is forecasting for October. The other models are less, so preface that. But if we have a similar anomaly as to what we had in September, that means instead of the normal 50s and 60s that we have in October and even some 40s, we'll mainly be in the 60s and even some 70s. So another mild month on the way potentially. And it does also have an impact on the frost. October 11th is our average first frost. And when you warm up October by 3, 4, 5 degrees, this is the impact on the frost date, the first one. So it does get later. So we're probably looking at a second half of October frost, maybe even beyond. You know, it has been as late as November a couple times. So just another climate change stat. Drought monitor unchanged from last week, so nothing really new to report. Still severe and extreme drought in northern Minnesota, but again, last week we did get rid of the exceptional drought. And it was mixed news for September rainfall. We're actually behind here in southeastern Minnesota, including the metro, by an inch or so of rain. So it was a dry September, but we did make some progress on the drought, at least, thanks to that swath of rain across central Minnesota. And luckily, it appears there's some concern that the drought might affect fall colors. Fall colors actually seem to be pretty good in parts of northern Minnesota. The northern half of the state basically as at peak right now. Color popping up more and more here in the southern part of the state. Of course, in the urban heat island, a little bit less, but we need some colder nights to really get that progressing a bit more. We're going to try to do that. We got a front across the area, still warm across Minnesota today, but you can see cooler temperatures, 50s out across the Dakotas spilling in, and that front is very slowly been moving east. And with it, it will get rid of this very odd humidity we have. Normally this time of year when we're warm, it's dry, but we've got dew points in the 60s, almost summer-like humidity. But drier air will start to move in over the next 48 hours or so. But along that front, we've got an area of low pressure. And again, that front is moving very slowly east, but it's been producing some pretty good downpours in western Minnesota and across Nebraska. We're talking inches of rain falling for some spots. Probably won't get as lucky here in the eastern part of the state. Most of the showers are going to be to our north and west today, but then as we head into the overnight, I do think we'll see some scattered showers move back into the picture. And then tomorrow, it's just going to be a bit unstable. So there will be a shower or two popping up. This is looking at later in the day. Again, I think mainly across the southern and southwestern part of the state, but there will be some showers around, so keep an umbrella handy if you're going to be out and about. I know some of the Twin Cities Marathon events already starting tomorrow. And then, of course, into Sunday, which is looking perfect. Rainfall amounts really are going to vary. I do think most of the metro we see under a ½ inch, but a couple of us could get lucky. And then as we head into next week, after slightly cooler temperatures, there's some differences in the models as to how quickly that warmth comes back in. The American model, the most aggressive. European model, the least aggressive, kind of keeps some cooler air lingering, which would mean we stay around 70. But all the models do agree on a warming trend heading into next weekend. 70s, maybe even 80 by the Canadian model. American model gives us some 80s too. It's been a little too hot on things, but yeah, we may not be done with the warm temperatures yet. Again, just the heat of summer.